Good morning, Friday morning, taking a walk around the CBD, just walking down Buitengracht Street in Gardens, just looking at this absolute human tragedy. It's unfolding on our streets. Daily more and more of these tent camps are coming up on the streets, and this is a major bone of contention for the community and for people who are trying to navigate these areas on their way to work and back in the mornings. This is a major arterial road leading up to Gardens. And as you can see, the pavements are mostly precluded from public access and thoroughfare. People are forced to walk on the other side of the road because these tents have literally taken over the whole pavement. And this is just one example of so many roads and areas in the CBD that have turned into this morass of plastic tarps and tents. Here we have a My City bus stop. You know, this is where people commute to, and kids get on and off the bus in the mornings, going to various parts of the city, to school, wherever, people coming into town to work. And this is what greets them right next door to the bus stop. A few months ago we had 2 deaths here on the street in this exact spot where heroin overdoses took place and people died. There's been numerous deaths on this specific stretch because of the addictive drugs that the people on this area are hooked on, and these drugs are easily accessible in this area. And this is exactly what it looks like. You know, people lying here in the street during the day. This is by the Kimberley Hotel. If you can look all the way up the road, it's like our own little mini Skid Row in the CBD. Ironically, across the road here is a building called the Temple House, and in this house you will find the head office in South Africa for George Soros's Open Societies Foundation, which disburses grants to the NGOs who also occupy this block, who are fighting in the courts to keep people on the street. Where is the dignity of allowing these people to remain on the street, lying here lifelessly? You know, probably, you know, the only reason people sleep like this during the day is because they've taken drugs and they are busy tripping out, so to speak. So yeah, this is thank you, Open Society Foundation, for opening your bleeding hearts and your dollars from America, which have contributed massively towards this crisis that we see. Yeah, misplaced compassion at its worst. And this is everywhere in our streets. If you look further up the road here, I'm walking up towards the gates of Parliament. I'm now on Roeland Street, and the street is where people traverse to and from the City Bowl and the house of our lawmakers and our burnt down Parliament in the distance. You can see the roof there completely charred away from burning. And as I walk down this street closer to Parliament, I'm heading to the intersection of Hope Street, which I have dubbed the No Hope Street, and you'll see why. Because within every block in this area you will find homeless camps set up on the streets. This is where tourists traverse and follow their little tourist maps, walking around and look at all the historical sites of achievements over the years, only to be confronted by this mess. I'm now outside the Hope Exchange, which is one of the NGOs that accommodates, rehabilitates and reintegrates homeless people. And inside these gates on the left here, where the security guard is watching me, people washing cars, which is great. It's a good service. Do you guys offer the service to the public to wash cars? This is also the home of Ndafuna Ukwazi, the homeless NGO that has been taking the city to court on various issues relating to homelessness, prohibiting the city from using its bylaws to remove people from streets. And yeah, this is the Hope Exchange. They do a lot of good work here. They help a lot of people on the street. And yeah, so you have the two major influences pushing against city policy literally within half a block from each other: the Open Society Foundation and Ndafuna Ukwazi, who receive funding from Open Society Foundation. And here we are by Parliament. You can see the main gates ahead of us. And this little street to the left, Hope Street, is a street of very little hope, to be honest. We've got a lot of homeless problems in the city, and the city's... Pardon? Okay, no, I'm just doing... I'm sorry, I'm doing a little documentary on what's happening on our streets in Cape Town.
I am working towards that.
Oh, okay.
Saving some blankets and things and some, what's known.
Okay, all right.
You can't let people walk away with nothing.
Okay.
Put it up somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm working towards this.
All right.
And
Okay. And this is the site that welcomes visitors to our city. These are sort of the rough sleeper area where people literally sleep overnight under plastic tarps and with their meager belongings. A lot of these people are very transient. They're in and out of the area. But there are a lot of people who have set up camp, so to speak, in the area. They have built bigger shelters and structures. This is what they look like. Lots of trash. I must say it's a lot cleaner here. There's no dirt lying around, except that which seems to be collected as private goods. And it's a mess. The homeless crisis is really affecting everyone here. There's a school over the road. This is where school children go to school. There's a Catholic school here. And this little park used to be designated as a children's park for kids to play and enjoy their community has now been completely taken over as a homeless camp. And it is a problematic one at that. And that the information we receive on the street is that this camp contributes to a lot of the antisocial drug problems in the area, as well as car breakings and other social ills. But as you can see, once were children's swings here. You know, this was a proper park for recreation, now choked up by weeds. You can see the swings are all broken, and the camps are literally all over the place. I would say there's 60 different illegal structures here, all basically sprung up here during COVID time, and this is the result. It's quite sad what's happened to this community. This is my community. Gardens, where up until just before COVID I was the chairman of the local neighborhood watch, and this has really proliferated during the last 3 years. You can see here the hawkies are completely backed up against the fence. The fence is now an anchor for the bigger structures that have been built, and the washing is on the lines. The washing is on the lines everywhere. What more can I say? You know, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in how this has all happened. People in this area can't sell their properties. I know various homeowners that have attempted to sell their properties here over the last year and have taken a major knock on the property values, because nobody wants to invest here. Who wants to buy into properties when your basic rights to safety and a clean environment, etc., are invalidated by A, our courts, and B, activists who fight to keep these people here? Where is the dignity in keeping these people here in these parks in the middle of the CBD and elsewhere in the city? People in these parks are predominantly on drugs, and I can say that with absolute surety from my own personal experience in being involved in public safety in this area. I know that in excess of 80% of people sleeping on these streets are drug addicts. Many of them have mental health issues, long-standing underlying mental health issues, and often the comorbidity of mental health and drug abuse at once, which is exacerbated, which in many cases leads to these people falling into psychosis and exhibiting antisocial behavior in the area. I myself was stabbed, ended up in emergency operating theatre for 4 hours, and 72,000 rands medical bills later, after a homeless person attacked me on these streets. So I have first a knowledge of what's going on here. Here's another little street. I'm just going on a little side street now. More unlawful occupations on the street. And this is all happening literally on the periphery, within a block or two outside of the CID, the Central Private Security Public Government Partnership of Urban Renewal. And as you can see, you know, wherever the SIDS are as well, there's a massive displacement of homeless people. And there are many homeless people who do crime. A lot of people in this road specifically that I know are habitual criminals that have been in and out of prison numerous times for car breaking, mugging, etc. And where we're at is these people come to town and set themselves up just outside the footprint of the central improvement districts, and then use these areas as launch pads for crime, especially at night. In the early hours of the morning recently, there's been a wave of these people being found entering local neighborhoods, breaking into cars. Property crime is at an all-time high, and the police stats actually support this. So yeah, that's my little walk around of one block in the City Bowl, one of many experiencing this situation.